So, today we're digging into something that might be one of the biggest and most invisible threats to our democratic systems. It's an idea that comes straight from a new paper out of the University of British Columbia. And honestly, it's a technology that could be changing our world without us even noticing. We're pretty used to political threats that we can see, right? Protests filling the streets or really obvious attempts to mess with voting. But what if the next huge threat was something you couldn't see at all? An invisible force designed to quietly and massively manipulate what we all think. And this image really gets to the heart of it. This isn't about stuffing ballot boxes like in the old days. No, this is all about influencing that one single human voter by surrounding them with what feels like a real consensus, but is completely manufactured. It's a much more subtle and, frankly, a much more advanced game. So that leads us to the biggest question of all. How could something this powerful be working right under our noses? Well, the answer is in a type of technology that learns, that adapts, and that coordinates way, way faster than any group of humans ever could. And this force we're talking about, it has a name: AI swarms. You might also hear them called AI-controlled personas. And I want you to forget everything you think you know about those old, clunky internet bots. We are talking about something on a totally different level here. See, an AI swarm isn't just one fake account. It's a huge network of AI personas, and every single one is designed to look, sound, and act just like a real person. Their whole goal is to just slide into our online spaces, our Reddit forums, our Facebook groups, and just subtly start steering the conversations. And this chart really shows the massive leap in technology. I mean, old bots were repetitive, clumsy, and honestly pretty easy to spot. AI swarms are the complete opposite. They're adaptive, they actually learn from conversations, they're incredibly realistic, and maybe most importantly, they're instantly coordinated, all working together to push the same consistent story across thousands of different accounts. Okay, so how does a swarm actually pull this off? How does it influence us? It's not just about spamming a bunch of posts, it's actually a pretty sophisticated step-by-step process of infiltration and persuasion. So first, the infiltrate. The AI personas join a community and they just listen. They learn the slang, the inside jokes, the whole vibe. Then they start to experiment, testing millions of different messages to see what actually gets a reaction. Based on all that data, they change their strategy in real time. And then, for the final play, they create a false consensus. They make it look like an idea has this huge, organic, grassroots support, when in reality, it's all completely artificial. Think about it this way. It's like a political campaign that can test a million different ad slogans every single second, find the absolute perfect one to convince a specific person, and then blast it out using thousands of accounts that look totally authentic. That's the kind of power we're dealing with here. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds a little bit like science fiction, right? But the researchers behind this are pointing to some very real examples that show the building blocks for these swarms. They're not just here, they're already being used. And just to be clear, these fully autonomous, super-coordinated swarms we've been describing, they're mostly still on the horizon. But that does not mean the threat is far away. The individual components, the weapons, if you will, they are already active on this new information battlefield. I mean, we've all seen the explosion of deepfakes and completely fabricated news websites. We've seen watchdog groups uncover these big, coordinated pro-Kremlin networks pushing specific talking points. And these tactics, they've already been used to shape conversations around major elections all over the world, from the US to Taiwan to India. These are the early warning signs. And here is the really chilling long-term strategy. Some of this stuff isn't even about trying to persuade us today. It's about flooding the internet with biased information to poison the well, to poison the data that's going to be used to train the next generation of AI models. So they're not just trying to win today's argument, they're trying to rig the very source of information for tomorrow. So let's zoom out. What does a world with AI swarms actually look like? The consequences go way beyond just one or two elections. We are talking about a fundamental change in how we trust and how we process information online. And this quote from Dr. Kevin Leighton Brown at UBC, it just hits the nail on the head. If we get to a point where we can't trust any unfamiliar voice online, who does that help? Well, it helps established celebrities and already powerful figures. And who does it hurt? It hurts authentic grassroots movements that depend on everyday people coming together online. The whole nature of how we talk to each other could be rewritten. And you know what? We're probably not going to have to wait very long to see how this plays out.
With the technology moving this fast, researchers are warning that the next major elections will likely be the first real large-scale test of these systems.
So this leaves us with a truly difficult and kind of unsettling question. As our digital world gets more and more crowded with these super realistic artificial voices all pushing a coordinated agenda, how will any of us be able to tell the difference between a real conversation and a fake one? How do we know what's real anymore?